This is it. So first and foremost, why are you getting I am interested but no payment? You see, let me start by letting you understand that at the moment, one of the reasons why you are going to get this is not the fact that you are having a traffic issue. All right. This is the preamble. You are not having a traffic issue, and then you are not the only realtor who is actually having this problem presently. All right. So 90% of Nigerian realtors who are trying to sell properties have encountered this. So I've worked with a couple of realtors in recent times, and then the question has been: I post every day, I make content on both YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere, and all I get is I am interested. And then after weeks of follow up, after days of follow up, after months of follow up, nothing happens. What could be the problem? That has always been the question. So I want you to understand that you are not alone. And secondly, the reason why you are facing this is not because your traffic is a problem. You see, your traffic is already correct. That's why you are having attention. All right, you're already having people who have interest. They are coming in. You have their attention. All right, so you have people who are commenting. You have people who are liking. So apparently the traffic is not the problem. You have people who are seeing your property. You have people who are actually telling you well done. Your friends, family, and all of those, they are seeing it. So the problem is not actually the traffic. So what then is the problem? You see, in real estate, we have four categories of buyers. And one primary problem that every realtor has is actually trying to sell to all categories of buyers the same way. Now, who are the four categories of buyers? Now, the number one category of buyer is the Nigerians in diaspora. The number two are the wealth preservers. Now, who are the wealth preservers? I think Nigerians in diaspora is actually self-explanatory. So, who are the wealth preservers? The wealth preservers are people who are not looking for knowledge on how to invest in real estate. All right, they are people who have already been in real estate. They have the knowledge, they have the experience. So what they are looking out for is someone who is qualified to handle their portfolio. You see, these are people that you can refer to as people with money. They have experience, they have already some portfolios. All right, they are looking out for: are you qualified as a realtor? Are you qualified to handle one of my portfolios? Are you an expert? Is there something you have that I can attribute you to an investment advisor? Because these people have investment bankers in their hand. So they are not looking for knowledge in real estate, they have it. So there is something called classism within them. They are looking for people who are the same class with them to buy properties from. All right, are you qualified to sell properties to them? These are the questions they ask. Are you qualified to sell properties to them? All right, so at this particular point, you cannot sell to the wealth preservers by posting every day and telling them we have the best property in Enugu, we have the best property in Asaba, we have the best property in Ekpe. No, those are not what they are looking for. They are looking for the fact that, okay, as a real estate investment advisor, you understand that these people are looking at expanding their portfolio, and then they are looking for an investment in one aspect of real estate, which can be specifically, it can be in commercial real estate. So in commercial real estate, we have different aspects. All right, you have to express expertise to them. They are looking for people who are experienced. So the third categories of buyers are the creative industry income earners. Now, who are the creative industry income earners? The creative industry income earners are the new generation investors. You see, presently you see a lot of content creators who share how much they make on Twitter, how much they make on TikTok, how much they make on Facebook and other platforms like YouTube. So those people are categorized as the creative industry income earners. They are the crypto traders. They are the forex traders. Apparently, the tech guys, all right, people who are making money with the new economy, we call them the digital earners. All right, so these are the categories they fall under. You see, the problem with these categories of buyers is that they do not have interest in buying property. You see, to them, property is a need, but what freaks them is actually wants. So you have to be able to sell properties to them as a want for them to be able to buy. That's why you see them buy the latest iPhone. You see them buy the kind of car they desire is Benz. So why are they pushed towards that desire? Is because it gives them what we call emotional excitement. You see, one of the reasons you are having problem is not because people are not having interest in buying your property. Your problem starts from the fact that you are trying to sell properties to all these categories of people the same way. All right, they cannot buy the same way. They do not think the same way. You see, that's the primary problem. So how many categories have I listed now? 3 categories. And the 4th category are the ones we call investors. The people I have rebranded as flippers. Now, these are people who have money somewhere, who are projecting the future. So they do not want to tie the money in the bank. They do not equally have a business they want to put it into presently. So what they are looking for is an investment that can quickly give them a turnover. So they switch quickly and look out for what can I put this money to, and it will actually give me return in the next 12 months. These are the people that are easily swayed by Ponzi schemes. All right, and at the end of the day, we blame them. They are supposed to be giving the money to you. See, you need to stop selling land and building. Primarily, I know you are a realtor. I know your product is land and building. But the people who are buying are not thinking like those who want to buy land and building. You see, when these people, the flippers, think, they are thinking of what can give them increase in their money. That's why I told you in some of my videos that real estate is about capital protection, cash flow assurance. So what they are thinking is, if I put 5 million naira on this property on a monthly basis, what is the minimum percentage increase that is accrued on this property? So you now think as an investment advisor who understands data. You see, on a monthly basis, this property was launched at a price of 2.5 million, and within a space of 1 year, calculated in months, within a space of 8 months, for example, this property is now being sold for 5.5 million. Now, in percentage increase, this property has grown to about 289% increase. That number I'm calling is formulated, so you calculate the right number. So what it means is that if you buy this property today, we at 5.5 million, in the next 12 months, this property will give you a percentage increase of 589% increase, meaning that you are going to be selling this property at so amount. Now what they are seeing is cash flow, because why people put money in treasury bill is the fact that they have a percentage of 17% increase at the end of the year on their money. Why people put money on Ponzi scheme is that they are promised percentage increase. So they are looking for an investment that will give them percentage increase. And that's exactly what property does. No property that you buy today at 1 million naira will remain 1 million naira in the next 12 months. So, but what we are communicating is that you have a property in a fast growing location. What you are communicating is that you have one of the best secured property in your location. You are not bisecting the elements that they are looking for. So the primary problem in your sales communication is that you are selling property. You are not selling exactly what their expectation is. And that is for the flippers. Now for the creative industry income earners, you are selling lands to people who are looking for something that will give them a bragging right. You see, these people would easily want to pay you 30 million naira for a deposit for a building that they can spread the balance if they have that option. The reason is that they will be able to come online and post that they have just acquired a new house in their location. So it gives them a bragging right. The creative industry income earners, who are made up of younger generation, are looking for something that gives them bragging right. Now, when you are trying to sell properties to this generation, you have to package the property in a way that it gives them a bragging right. All right, selling to them has to be entertaining, has to be boastful, has to equally uphold their emotional desire. Are we still together? Let me know if you are together here. Are you learning anything so far?
Yes, of course.
All right. So the different categories of buyers must be sold to based on their peculiarities. So that's the primary problem that you probably have had in the course of trying to sell. So the problem has not been the traffic. That's one of the things you have to put in mind, all right, and understand. Now, this is why buyers don't follow through when you are trying to engage them. So now, you see, I spend time to actually put this together. One of the reasons buyers don't follow through when you are actually picking them up is that they don't trust you. Because you see, the moment you met me yesterday, have I asked you to make payments for anything yet? Why am I taking time not to let you make payments for anything yet? I'm going to let you understand how this works practically by my example. So you met me through my art. Some of you are seeing me for the first time. Some of you, because I have been more of filtered targeting in the last few years. But this particular time, I decided to expand it. I'm even having people from Taraba. Have never targeted Taraba before, but this time I decided to expand it to other locations. So now some of you are meeting me for the first time. The moment I ask you, I sent you account details for you to pay, you will hold on or you will start feeling somehow. Reason is that, you see, one reason why people don't follow through on your sales journey is that you activated sales immediately instead of building trust. Trust is a process, all right? There is a triangle in helping you to build a digital trust. I'll share with you how you build a digital trust in the course of this. But this is one of the reasons why people don't follow you through when you are trying to lead them in your sales pipeline, all right? Lack of trust is a primary issue, all right? The second thing is that you have no clear structure, all right? From capturing lead to moving straight to sales communication, no clear structure, all right? So there has to be a structure that helps you to capture, activate, establish conversation before you present offer, all right? These are systems, all right? It's a structured process. You don't just wake up and then start calling for when are you paying, all right? So now your poor conversation will lead to poor sales flow, all right? You have no structured conversation system. You know, like I just said, you capture lead, you structure your activation process, all right? That is, at the point of capturing your lead, you have to pre-qualify. Pre-qualifying leads helps you understand the kind of offer you are going to present. Don't worry, we are still going down. These are just a preamble, all right? When you understand the kind of interest they have, you are now able to activate them because you've pre-qualified them. After pre-qualifying them, you activate them. After activating them, you establish conversation. That's where conversation comes in. It's after conversation that you can present your offer. All right. You see, weak follow up. All right, because you see, the moment you have established your offer does not mean that they are going to make payment immediately. And then your sales success depends on your follow up system. Do you have an effective follow-up system? That's exactly what determines your sales success. If all of this are not in place, you will not have success rate in your sales communication journey. All right, this is actually why I said that if you have done an effective job in your marketing process, your sales closing would be easier. All right, but most of us do not actually understand how to effectively structure our journey so that our sales closing will be easier for us. All right, so you see, most realtors wake up every day, post property, people indicate interest, and then they send a price list. Most times what you even do is that you have all your properties listed in one flyer, 10 location in one flyer. Do you know what that does in the mind of your prospect? Options creates indecision. Option creates indecision. By the time you have shared more than 2 options to your prospect, you are likely not going to be able to close that sales immediately. All right, so what you do, you have to re-strategize. You see, posting properties randomly only helps you serve it to random people. It's more like sharing flyers randomly. People collect it and drop it. All right, see, I am interested means nothing without a buying capacity. And the industry you are in is actually a special industry. You see, property is actually called, real estate is called special industry for a reason. You are selling a special product because you cannot wake up, post, and then put your account details and go to sleep, and someone just messaged you, I have paid for 15 million naira land. They have not called you, they have not met you, nothing. But if you run an e-commerce, you can run an ad and wake up to the fact that someone has paid for wristwatch. You can wake up to the fact that someone has paid for a shirt. Someone has paid for a skincare. All right, someone has paid for shoes, any other thing. But you see, real estate, they have to establish trusts before they can now ask for the payment process. All right, so posting randomly without a strategy only denies you unique brand establishment. So it keeps you at a point where you are looking like someone that is desperate. And for some of you, today you are posting car, the next day you are posting fashion items, tomorrow you now remember that you are in real estate, you post real estate. I understand, we are in Nigeria, you've been told to do so many things as a means of income, but you see, real estate is not that same industry that you would work as though you are having it as a side income. All right, real estate is a special industry. When you want to do real estate, it has to be your major source of projection. All right, that is what establishes your brand. Other ones, you can create business pages for them and promote your businesses there. So they have to know you for real estate to be able to trust you. If you are floating between different areas, it will be difficult for people to trust you. You are not a general merchandise. All right, to be difficult. So you see, you have to re-strategize how your content goes out. All right, the kind of audience you serve to. That's why I said you cannot create content for everybody. If you are targeting Nigerians in diaspora, you have to structure your content for Nigerians in diaspora every day. If you are targeting the creative industry income buyers, you have to structure your content for the creative industry income earners every day. All right, if you are targeting the wealth preservers, same thing, just like you are targeting the flippers. All right, that's exactly how not to target random people who would just share interest without being able to afford it. All right. At the same time, most realtors have no system. For most of us here, you wake up every day, you pray, God, let thy will be done. Your sales success is dependent on miracle. And you know, if the last time you sold was last year, November, and this is already April, and you've not sold any other thing again, and if I ask you, what did you do to sell last year, November, and you cannot highlight all the steps you took, all the processes you went in order to sell that property, it means that a miracle happened in November. And ever since that November, miracle has not happened again, because miracle doesn't happen every day. And you cannot build a business banking on miracle. You see, no systems means no sales. In real estate, that's exactly what it means. All right. Now, all of this I'm saying here would be implemented practically, but you need to understand what is missing before you are able to practically implement them. All right. I'm sure you are still with me. Okay. So this is exactly what works, and I need you to start establishing it right away. You see, what works for everyone who has sold property, in fact, the only 2% in the industry who are currently selling on a monthly basis, is the fact that they understand how to attract the right people. That's what works. They understand how to attract the right people. You see, everyone on the internet is not your prospect, because presently you've heard the data, only about 2% of Nigerians, not 2% rather, only about 10% of Nigerians earn up to 200,000 naira in Nigeria. All right. And only about less than 10% of Nigerians have up to 500,000 in their bank account. What this means is that the economic reality economic reality does not afford you the opportunity to start selling to everybody, because everyone cannot afford what you sell. You know, the least landed property in most locations is from 1 million and above. That's in locations that are not like Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Enugu. So some locations you can see properties for 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. But the truth is that if you are targeting someone whose home and abroad is 500,000 naira, there is no magic that will happen. They cannot transfer their blood. This is actually why you have to pre-qualify every lead that you capture in order to be able to make them the right people. All right. You don't waste your energy on interest. Once you have the interest, pre-qualify them before you release them, all right, into your sales pipeline. Everyone has to be scrutinized. Attracting the right people starts from the kind of creative you use when advertising, all right? Starts from the kind of content you post on a daily basis. Starts from the kind of platform that you position. You see, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Facebook. So the platform you position depends on the kind of people you are going to attract. All right. So now, what works again is actually building trust intentionally. Building trust intentionally, because this is real estate. People buy from those they truly trust. All right. So they have to be able to trust you to be able to buy from you. So building trust intentionally would actually help you to sell more. All right. And then guiding the conversation. This is where the problem is actually. A lot of people, when someone messages, I have interest in this your property, how do I go about it? You say, it's available. Which location do you want? We have, for Enugu people, we say we have Independence Layout, we have Oji River, we have, they will keep mentioning different locations. For people in Lagos, they may just say, we have Ekpe, we have Ibeju. But you are already giving options. The primary thing in building and guiding that conversation is, thank you for your interest in our property. For me to be able to guide you better to make the right property investment decision that is rewarding, I would like to know, what are you investing for? Is it for private purpose or for commercial purposes? And then you sit back and listen to him tell you that, okay, I'm actually investing for commercial purposes. So that's beautiful. You see, in 2026, we have different options in commercial property investment. And you see, we have the short let apartment, we have the build to let, we have hotels, and then you mention all the available options there. But I must say, before I tell you the option that I know is really rewarding in investment presently, let me know, have you concluded on the aspect of commercial real estate that you are going into? And then he will say, well, I'm still thinking if build to let is good. He said, that's where I come in. You see, this is my field. I've practiced for at least 6 years in this industry, and I've guided over 18 professional investors to make wise investment, and they have been rewarding for them. You see, presently, real estate investment is very tricky, especially in the commercial aspect. If you are going to reap reward in commercial real estate, must tell you, don't invest in this, don't invest in this, and don't invest in this. This is why I'm saying so. You see, this aspect has this, has this, has this, and has this. And for this aspect, you are expected to do this, to do this, to do this. This is how to guide the conversation and make yourself a professional. So you have to put down a template. You see, when GoTV or DSTV calls you, even if 10 people call you in a month, you will know that they are saying the same thing. The reason why that happens is that they have a system. All right, even if everybody resigns today and they employ new people, they will still be saying the same thing. Reason is that there is a documented conversation system. So you need to have this system documented for you and practice them as well, so that when you are caught unaware, you can also be able to flow without reading them. All right. So what you need to understand is that, look, you are guiding the conversation. You are projecting yourself as a professional in the industry, because they only buy from people who are experienced. Nobody wants to experiment with you. They want to be sure that you are vast. You have knowledge in the industry that you are claiming to be in. All right. So that's why when you are guiding the conversation, you have to pick through the problems, divert into the solution, go back into the problem, go back into the solution. So they now see that this person truly understands this industry. He has navigated, he has faced problems, and he has navigated into the solution. He will be able to guide me to avoid the problems. He has a solution that will make my real estate investment rewarding. But you see, the problem most realtors have is that all they know is that they post properties, and when someone asks for price, they tell them the price, and they assure them that the location is a fast growing location. People are already building and living there. And then they just assure them that the company is very unique. We are not like others who don't allocate. That's not enough that people are looking for. So for them to believe this, they need to see how you lead and guide the conversation. All right. And then when you've guided them rightly, what works again is that your follow-up has to be strategic. You see, there are stages in sales. All right. The moment you have gotten them to a point where they bring up objections, we have different objections, like I'll get back to you, which is one of the objections. The moment you've gotten to that stage of objection, you have to understand that primarily there are strategies to bypass them and still continue your follow-up structure. Don't worry, I have that in this slide. So these are the things that work. Attract the right people, building trust intentionally, and guiding the conversation and following up strategically. These are 4 important guidelines that helps in sales conversion. All right. Now, I'm very sure you've taken note of that. Now, this is how to attract serious buyers. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. This is how to attract serious buyers, not just random leads. All right. You see, I will repeat this anytime, any day, that I am interested means nothing without a buying capacity. All right, because you see, the only capacity you have is the ability to afford the property. Let it be that I am not able to convince you, not that you were convinced, you like the property, but you can't afford it. So all my effort was actually in vain. And what can help you to avoid that and attract only people who can afford your property is that, as at today, you have to stop posting random properties. All right, you see, random properties will give you, wow, that's beautiful, where is this location, how much is it, can I do payment by installment? When you hear things like this, you have actually been doing random property posting. Every property content that you share has to come with one, information has to be there, entertainment has to be there, education has to be there, call to action has to be there. All right, so all of this has to be accommodated in one property post. This is what will separate random posting to intentional content marketing, because at this point your property content you share has become content marketing. You are now effectively doing content marketing, not random property posting on a daily. All right, and then random posts only attract random people, that's for sure. All right, the moment you have shifted to posting intentional content that makes your marketing strategic, you are having call to action. All right, people who are engaging are people who understand the investment journey that you are creating already. So this is what you do. For instance, I have property in Independence Layout, for example, or I have property in somewhere in Abuja, or even in Taraba or Port Harcourt. What I'll do on a daily basis is that I'm going to be sharing that property, but first and foremost, the first 10 seconds would be me talking about, so yesterday I had a conversation with a client in UK. Now, why am I using that strategy? I am targeting Nigerians in diaspora. So yesterday I had a conversation with a client in UK. He had just bought property last month in one of our locations. The location I'm going to be mentioning is that the location is clearly where I am currently promoting, so that if you mention a different location and then you are now promoting another one, your prospect will now be saying, how about that location that your client in UK bought? Is it still available? Now you have distracted them from the offer you are about to present. So yesterday I had a conversation with my client in UK, and apparently he bought a property last month in our location at Independence Layout. And it was very interesting because this client is a first-time buyer. We had just connected through my video that I made on YouTube analyzing that property, and he called me. He said, Mr. Tim, I saw this property that you just highlighted now. I love it. So how does it go? So one of the things that ticked the bucket for him was the fact that, now what are you trying to do? You are trying to bisect that property. It was the fact that this property and Independence Layout is at a location that you can use the property for both commercial and private purposes. Even when you buy and you are not a frequent visitor in Nigeria, that property can be converted to a short-let apartment that will be giving you monthly cash flow. And at the same time, it's one of the most secured environments to raise a family for your private apartment. So you see, when he saw that, he was very, very interested because this location has all the basic amenities. If you know Independence Layout in Enugu, you understand that the roads are the best kind of electricity, security, and everything you may think of. And one of the most important things that caught in for him was the fact that this property has one of the most effective titles in Enugu State. You see, most people have bought properties and after a few years they lost it. All right, one of the reasons why they lose is the fact that they did not clarify the title, the document, and all of those. But this property comes with one of the best titles verified, and I led him through the process of verification. He verified everything, and then within 3 days, he made investment decision and made payment. And guess what? Our allocation is instant, and he has already been allocated. So you see, that made me feel very fulfilled that I am already helping Nigerians in diaspora to fulfill their dream of owning properties back home. And you may be next. That's why I'm opening the room to accommodating few more people to also come in and invest in this same location. So yeah, there is a number showing on that screen right now. I will be guiding only about 10 people to invest wisely this week. If you are that person, call me right now. You see, at intervals, when you were saying all of this, at intervals, while editing it, the property pictures are shared as well. The location videos are shared in between. Are you with me? So at this point, you are not posting random property. You are carrying out what we call content marketing tied to your property. So there is a call to action, there is information, there is a story captured, and there is a filtered audience that you are targeting, Nigerians in diaspora. Are you learning anything this night? All right, so let's go, because you see, this is a serious time that we are having here. Serious buyers need clarity, and that's one of the things you need to understand. They want to be sure that you are intentional, all right? Be intentional while actually attracting them. You are going to be attracting them when you express expertise, all right? So understanding how Nigerian in diaspora buy property. I know this will be a bit interesting to some people, all right? You see, Nigerians in diaspora are some of the people that will suspect you the more. They are very cautious. They are very, very cautious. All right, they love the property, but you see, they've heard several stories, and they are a prey to most scammers in Nigeria. The fact that they've heard other companies have done bad by selling and not allocating is a problem. So you have to be able to make sure that their fear for scam is already handled. You don't wait for them to ask before you handle it. You make sure that you have handled their fears before they actually start asking the question. Don't wait for them to ask you that question, all right? You see, you will need proof, all right? They don't want to be doing trial and error. They want to be sure. Has anybody gone ahead to take a risk of buying from you? Always have social proof, all right? When you sell to a fellow Nigerians in diaspora, request for a video call, and then assure them that if they don't want their face to show, that you will cover their face, but let it be that they will say a thing or two about their experience while buying properties from you. When you are selling to Nigerians in Nigeria, let them also say a thing or two about their experience while buying properties from you in Nigeria, all right? They need clarity. They are not looking for people selling land. They are looking for investment advisors who are going to help them align their investment decision. While buying property in this location, is it good? Should I invest in build to let? So they are looking for this clarity. You stop selling land. They want people with expertise who can help them understand the industry. All right, they are just investors who live abroad, who have money. They've not been into real estate. So you are in. Are you experts, and are you, experienced enough to guide them through this process? So you have to stop acting like a realtor. All right, be the guide that they are looking for. Be a trusted partner. All right, be a trusted advisor. They are looking for investment advisor. You have to be that to them. That's exactly whom they are looking for. From henceforth, I need you to change your strategy. I need you to change your approach. I need you to change your structure, all right, and make sure that you are selling based on their expectation. All right, this is actually what helps you. Okay, so now there is a chain, because you may be asking, how do I build trust faster? All right, so you see, I build this chain to help you build trust faster. The first point that will help you build trust, because you see, one of the reasons why you came to this WhatsApp group and then you are now in the training, all right, in the webinar that we are right now is because you saw my ad. I became visible to you. You came in. And then what I'm trying to do here is for you to understand that I know what I am saying. So far, you will not have spent the number of minutes you've stayed here with me if you did not see me as one who is saying something reasonable. That's when you are building authority. So when you become visible by using your content marketing, the next thing you should do is the fact that you are building authority. Authority is built when you are able to express expertise. All right, so the next thing is that they want to know the person behind this. You see, I had to show at the beginning of this training, I had to make you understand that there is a human face. I put on the video for you to see who is actually taking on this training. All right, I put on my video just like I have done now for you to see that there is a human behind this voice that you are hearing. They want to be sure that the person they are buying for is not a robot. There is someone they can put a face to, all right? And secondly, they want to know that you have a routine. So create a routine. A routine has to help you build trust. You see, you can create the real estate investment show, all right? Property market, property knowledge market, all right? Property market knowledge show, so to say. So on a weekly basis, you come on and then you analyze a particular thing about property or property clinic, real estate investment clinic, and then you make yourself as a presenter. Someone can interview you, or you can start even a podcast. So that's how you build a routine in your business. At the end of the day, you can have real data analysis, all right? Show real data. Don't be a motivational speaker. Investors don't buy from motivational speakers. They buy from people who understand data. If I invest in this property at 5 million today, and I have a child that is just 5 years old, and by the time he turns 18, I want to be able to use this property to send him abroad to school. Can this property help me achieve that? You have to answer that with data. As a matter of fact, this is a marketing strategy I just gave you. One that we used to sell one of the estates for a client. All right, we targeted new parents who were trying to make investments for their children's future. And we use that strategy. All right, tie 5 million naira for property today. Let it stay for 15 years. And then use the property to send your children abroad or to send them to a private school in Nigeria. And then we calculated it in data and percentage, and it worked. Just like someone will calculate treasury bill and other investments for you. You are an investment advisor. Act as one. All right? You are just majoring in real estate. You are not just a land and building seller. All right? All right. Share social proof. Has anybody taken a risk of working with you before? How was their experience? Share it and then let them say something. Social proof will help you close sales faster than whatever word you would say. All right? What other people tells them about you would help you close sales faster. All right? Structure your conversation and close deals better. So how do you structure your conversation? All right? Control the process. Create segmentation. Separate conversation. All right, lead with expectation. This is what it means. Controlling the process is that the process of acquisition conversation is different from conversation that happens for activation. It equally different from the conversation that happens at the conversation and the offer presentation, yes. And then when they've gone for inspection, the conversation is different. When they are yet to pay, the conversation is equally different. So you have to structure conversations that will help you close deal. You see, I can go on and on in this, but this webinar was structured for 1 hour. All right, this webinar was structured for 1 hour today, and then we have 4 minutes to the 1 hour. What I will do for you is that I will answer your questions in the group. But before you go, you see, what we have done here is actually basic structuring in the course that I had told you had been recorded. Practical implementation. I have this practically recorded and implemented, how to do all those calls, the scripts and everything, how to filter your ad so that you are targeting the right set of people. All right, you are not just targeting random people. How to structure your YouTube marketing so that you are positioning for people who would see your brand and trust you faster. And eventually, how you can actually control their objections. The objection script, how to handle the objection, and how to carry out the calls for the sales closing calls. How to carry out the sales closing calls. All of these are packaged in a simple course that I have told you, all right? And then for the fact that you are in this training today, I'm giving that course at a huge discount. I told you earlier on in the conversation on WhatsApp that the course is just 45,000 naira, but you can have it for 25,000. But for the number of persons that are here, if you want to access that course tonight after this session, I will give you an extra 5,000 naira discount, and you can access it for 20,000 naira and go ahead and make your real estate business the best of its kind. And trust me, I'm still going to be having webinar with you, whether you buy this course or not. As long as you are in that group, we are having another webinar. But of course, our webinar is always 1 hour so that you can also retire and rest. I don't bombard you with so much information. No, it's not about talk. You have to learn, implement, and then we review. You are free to ask questions in the group. As a matter of fact, we may even have a WhatsApp call where we will have that call question and answer session where you ask your question, and then I will also assist you. But most importantly, the implementation to help you do better would be when you get the full course that I just told you has been recorded. If you are going to get that course, just go straight and send a message this night to the admin of that group. All right, and then if you are ready, let indicate by sharing. Put a thumb up if you are ready to get that course this night. Let me know how many people I'm granting that discount, and my admin is here as well to take notes. One person, Mr. Ankeruwem, that's my brother. One person, yeah, take note, admin. That's one person that you can give that discount, extra discount, to pay 20,000 naira. So, if that will be all that will pick the course tonight, that's good for me. All right. So, like I said, if I were actually money conscious, I wouldn't give you all the kind of information you've accessed today. You can attest to the fact that I wasn't shallow. All right. I was trying to make you know that, look, what we are doing is wrong, and we do more in the group. Ask your questions in the group. So I have 30 minutes to answer your question in the group, and I appreciate you for being here tonight. Have a blast.